Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Royal Ascot here on Thursday. It is June the 20th, 2019. I'm going to look at all the races on today's program from Ascot, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me the rest of the week for some more Ascot previews. And also join me this weekend, some great races here in the States, one of them being the United Nations Handicap from Monmouth, a great local prep race kind of for the British Cup Turf, so go check that out. But all our main focus this week will be on Ascot. But today's Thursday car is always my favorite. My favorite race of the week is today, the Gold Cup. Stayers going that long trip, and it's just a good race. And, it's just a great car today. So let's get on to it. 6 races to look at. Let's get to the first, the 2:30 from Ascot, which is the Group 2 Norfolk Stakes. It's a Group 2 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $128,000, race for 2-year-olds only. 15 horses are going 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs on the soft turf course. My top selection here, since it's a very wide open 2-year-old race, I'll give you 2 horses that I think can win. I'll use the 5-horse Expressionist and the number 8-horse Maven. I'll go 5-8 here. I'll probably use them both in the exact or forecast box, and I'll definitely use them in the place pot. But the first horse I'll talk about is the 5-horse Expressionist. Godolphin Doe and Charlie Appleby trained. James Doyle gets leg up on this 2-year-old colt by Night of Thunder. The horse's most recent outing came the 11th of May at Ascot on yielding ground, similar conditions that you're going to see today in a 5-round Class 3 novice, and the horse won by 3/4 length on the demanding ground. He quickened up nicely, had to be whipped a few times, but he got the job done. It was a very good run. He's going to come back to more demanding ground today, which he should do well with. He's a good poster, and I think he's sitting on a good run, and I think he could get the 5 furlong trip, so I'll use him here along with the 8-horse Maven, who I think will be the speed in this one. This true colt by American Pharaoh. Tyler Gaffleone gets leg up for Wesley Ward. These Wesley Ward horses, they're going to the front end, and the game they're going to be playing is Catch Me If You Can. But this horse's most recent outing came the 19th of April at Aqueduct, local track for me here in America, in New York. 4.5 furlongs in main special weight, and the horse went by half length, and Dylan Davis rode the horse perfectly that day. 40 cents a dollar. He quarter horse to source out of the gate, and on the front and all throughout, he just went very easily at the end. It was nearly, he was weakened out of it later in the stages of the race, but that's because he was quarter horsed out of the gate. Today, I don't think he has to be used that much, and I think he could really get a good run. Big question with him, though, will be the wet ground, but like I said, I think he's good enough to win. I think he's the speed of the race, and they're going to be playing Catch Me If You Can. At 7-1, I'll definitely use this horse. Definitely a horse you want to put on your place pots. But to recap my selections for the first, the 2:30 from Ascot, it's the Group 2 Norfolk. Gonna go with the 5-horse Expressionist. I'll also use the 8-horse Maven, and like I said, 5-8 for me, the exact or forecast box. But I'll definitely use them, like I said, in the place pot. The 3:05, the second race from Ascot. It is the Group 3 Hampton Court Stakes. It's a Group 3 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $115,000, race for 3-year-olds, which have never won a Group 1 or Group 2 pattern race. 15 horses here are going the 2,000-meter trip or a mile quarter on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to take the number 15 horse Sangarus. Pardon me, I can't speak English. I'm going to go 15-3-9 in the Tricast Trifecta. 15-3-9 Tricast Trifecta. That's the top 3 basically, but the top selection is 15 horse Sagarius, because I'm not saying it right, but just part of that 3-year colt by Kingman. Frankie Dettori is on this one for Sir Michael Stout. The horse's most recent outing came 23rd of May at Sandown, a mile on a listed stakes. He finished 3rd by 3 3/4 lengths there. He closed up well. He had a little bit of a turn of foot at the end. It was a good race for this horse first off the break. I think the mile quarter should suit this one well, and I think the wet ground moves this horse up a lot more. Before that, he ran the 13th of October at Newmarket on very firm ground, 7 furlongs in the Group 1 Dewhurst, and he finished 4th by 8 1/4 lengths there, and he just weakened out of it. He couldn't get into it. The ground was quite fast that afternoon, and then at Doncaster on the 14th of September, 7 furlongs yielding ground in listed stakes. He won by 2 3/4 lengths, and he quickened up nicely on the front end. It was a very good run, and then he broke the main before that Newmarket very nicely. It wasn't so as impressive the race afterwards, but he still got the job done. The mile quarter, he moves up with that. He moves up with the with the wet going. He has a good poster, and I think he's sitting on a good run. So at 8-1, I'll use this horse. A bit of a horse that I think could get a piece of it. Also would be the 3-horse Cape of Good Hope. This 3-0 colt by Galileo. Ryan Moore gets the leg for Aidan O'Brien. The horse's most recent outing came in the French Derby, the Prix du Jockey Club at Chantilly, going the mile 5/16 trip, and he finished 4th by 4 3/4 lengths. He was drawn a little bit too wide that day. He moved a little bit, but it wasn't anything spectacular. He's stepping down in loads of class today. Back to wet ground. I think he's going to sit in a good run. Before that, he ran an Epsom, a mile and a quarter in the Derby trial there, and he won by a half a length, and he did everything right. He had the rail, he quickened up nicely from the rail, and he just went away with a very good run. And then he ran the Royal Lodge at Newmarket during the autumn, where he finished 3rd by 3/4 length, and he was just never into it. It wasn't the day to win, but I think the mile and a quarter suit him well. He's stepping down in class. 4-1, I'll definitely use him. Another horse definitely want to put on the place pot because he is loaded, and if you're going to play a multi-race wager, use him there also. But to recap my selections now for the second, the 305 from Ascot's Group 3 Hampton Court Stakes is the top selection. I'll take the 15-horse Sadrius. I'll also use the 3-horse here, Cape of Good Hope, and I'll go 15-3-9 in the tri-cash trifecta to race number 3. The 340, the third race from Ascot, it is the Group 2 Ribblesdale Stakes. It's a Group 2 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse $275,000, race for 3-year-old fillies only. 11 horses are going 2,400 meters or a mile and a half on the turf course. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 11 horse here, Starcatcher. I'm going to go 11-4-2 in the tri-cash trifecta. 11-4-2 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection, 11 horse Starcatcher. This 3-year-old filly by See the Stars. Frankie Dettori's on this one for John Gosden. The horse's most recent outing came the 18th of May in Newbury, mile and a quarter in a listed stakes, and the horse finished 3rd by half length there, and he just never got into it until very late in the race. It just wasn't the day to win. I think an extra quarter of a mile should suit this one well, and I also think the soft ground should suit this horse well, because this horse won at soft ground at Newbury on the 12th of April, mile and a quarter in a Class 6 Maidens Fillies. First time facing the fillies that day. The horse won by 4.5 lengths, and she did everything right. She quickened up nicely, and she just won for fun, a very good run. And then she ran against the boys in her maiden outing at Chelmsford, 1 mile to Class 3 maiden. The horse finished 6 by 6 lengths at 80 cents a dollar. This horse just never ran a step. It wasn't the day to win, but I like this horse going to the mile and a half. She's bred for it. She's back to soft ground. She's a good poster, and she gets Gosden and Dettori, so that's a good combination here. I'll take this one here. I'll also use the number 4 horse, Francolina. I think she's a wise guy horse. It's 3-0 filly by Frankel. James Doyle gets leg for William Haggis, who's having a great week so far. William Haggis, that is, not Doyle. But the horse's Francolina's most recent outing came the 31st of May at Epsom, a mile and a half in the Group 1 Investa Oaks, the English Oaks, and the horse finished 6 by 4 3/4 lengths. She lost all chances basically at the beginning because she was drawn 14 of 14, where you don't want to be drawn, and she never got into a good run. She just didn't handle it there. I think coming here, step down in class, she's going to have to overcome a soft ground for the first time, but I think if the ground wasn't soft, I would be more confident in her abilities today, but she's stepping down in class and coming to a leveler racing course, shall we say. Before that, she ran on the 15th of May at York, mile and a quarter in the Group 3 Musadora Stakes, and finished second by a neck by Nashua, and again, she closed up well at the end. She just missed, but she ran a good effort off the break. And then 28th of October at Yarmouth, 1 mile in Class 4 Fillies Novice. She won by a head that day, and on the front end all throughout, she held on to a very good victory. She should handle the mile and a quarter, or mile and a half today. She's a good poster, but the biggest question with her can she handle the soft ground? Hopefully she can. I'll definitely use her in the multis, and I'll definitely use her in the place pod. But to recap my selection for the third, the 340 from Ascot's Group 2 Ribblesdale Stakes, gonna take as a top selection the 11 horse Starcatcher. I'll go 11-4-2 in the tri-cash trifecta, and I'll use the 11-4 in the multi races. So now let's get to race number. The featured 4th race, the 420 from Ascot, it's the Group 1 Gold Cup. It's a Group 1 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $640,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. 11 horses are going 4,000 meters or 2.5 miles on the turf course. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the 4-horse Stradivarius. I'm going to go 4-2-8 in the tri-cash trifecta. 4-2-8 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection, 4-horse Stradivarius. 5-year-old horse by See the Stars. Frankie Dettori's on this one for John Gosden. The horse's most recent outing came 17th of May at York, a mile 3/4 in the Group 2 Yorkshire Cup, and the horse won by 3/4 length at 80 cents to the dollar. He won very nicely. It wasn't, like I said, he won nicely, but it wasn't the most impressive victory he's ever had either. But first off the break, he did everything he was supposed to do. This is gonna be one of his toughest races lifetime, because I think he's facing some tough group of horses here, but I think he can overcome to win here, and I think the soft ground should do well for him also. Before that, he ran the 20th of October at Ascot, 2 miles in the Group 2 British Champions Long Distance Cup, and the horse won by 1.5 lengths. He had to be used a little bit that day, but again, he got the job done to a very nice victory to end off an undefeated year. And then before that, he won the Lonsdale Cup at York on the 2-mile trip. He won by 1.5 lengths, and again, he just won very nicely that day. He's the kind of horse that makes you bite your fingers sometimes, like he did in the Qatar Goodwood Cup at Goodwood going the 2-mile journey. He won by half length. Andrea Dazzini rode the horse that day, but I don't think he was a lot used to the horse. But he got the job done, but it was, like I said, very tough. And then he won this race last year by 3/4 length, very, very nicely, beating Vizirabad, who up till that point was probably one of the best stayers in the world. And then this horse kind of took the crown from him, and then went on to win £1 million in bonuses. But he had an undefeated season last year. He loves Ascot, and I think he's sitting on a good run. So at 6-5, I'll take him. Not the best price in the world. He'll probably be one of the lower prices of the week. But if there's a horse that could possibly upset here, a small bit possibly upset, I think the 2-horse Capri could get it, and depending on his odds, I might just do a sneaky each way wager on a very small one. But this 5-year horse by Galileo, Donica O'Brien, gets leg up for Aidan O'Brien. This horse's most recent outing came the 17th of May at Leopardstown, a mile 3/4 in listed stakes, and he finished third by 4.5 lengths. Kind of weakened out of it, final few strides of the race, but he's the kind of horse, he excels a little bit better on softer ground. Before then, the Vintage Crop at Navan, a mile 3/4, April 28th, he finished 5th by 6.25 lengths, and he just never quickened up, but he never weakened out of it. First off the break, he needed the race, and then he ran the Japan Cup, where he finished 11th by 18 lengths, and he had a wide post draw, and he was just facing the tougher horses, and it just wasn't the day to win. Almadai just set the race in world record time that afternoon. And then this horse ran the British Champion Stakes, going a mile and a quarter at Ascot last year, and finished 4th, kind of weakened out of it on soft ground, and then ran the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, and I thought he ran a decent 5th place finish there, and then he finished 5th in the Prix Fly. But he has a good post right here today, and I think he can stay the trip. The 2.5 miles would suit him well. At 12-1, like I said, if he drifts up in odds, I might do a small each way wager on him. Might use him as insurance on the place pod. But to recap my selection for the 4th, the 420 from Ascot's the Group 1 Gold Cup. Gonna go with the 4-horse Stradivarius as a top selection. As a price play, I'll use the 2-horse Capri. I'll go 4-2-8 in the TriCash trifecta. So now let's get to the most wide open race of the afternoon, the 5th race from Ascot. Race number 5, the 5 o'clock from Ascot. It's the Britannia Stakes. It's a Class 2 Heritage Handicap going for a purse of $153,500. Races for 3-year-olds, colts and geldings only, which are rated 0 to 150. We have a field of 33 horses. 31 through 33 are also eligible, so only 30 could go 1,600 meters or 1 mile down the straight mile here at Ascot. My top selection, since this is a very wide open race, I'm going to give you 3 horses that I think can win. The 3 horses I'll be using are going to be the 1 horse Dark Vision, the number 12 horse here Fanar, and the number 19 horse Dark Jedi. So I'll go 1, 12, 19 in the 5 o'clock from Ascot. But the first horse I'll talk about is the 1 horse Dark Vision. He's breaking from the rail. Post position number 1, 3-year-old colt by Dream Ahead. Jamie Spencer gets on this one for Godolphin and Mark Johnston. The horse's most recent outing came 23rd of May at Sandown, 1 mile on a listed stakes, and he finished 4th by 4.25 lengths there. And I didn't think he ran half bad. He had a little bit of a turn foot late. He ran quite well. I think the softer ground should suit him well, and I think getting the best rider down a 1 mile straightaway in the world helps getting Jamie Spencer up. But it was an improvement off the race before, which came in the Group 1 2,000 guineas at Newmarket, 1 mile May the 4th. He finished 12th by 13 lengths there, and at 40 to 1 that day. Finally got there in the end. At 40 to 1, he just never got into it, weakened out of it. Wasn't the day to win. And then at Chelmsford, 1 mile on the road to Kentucky Derby condition stakes, he finished 3rd by a neck, and he never quickened up and never weakened out of it either. It wasn't the day to win first off the break. And then he ran the Champagne at Doncaster. We finished 6th by 13 lengths, and they were asking a little bit too much too soon. But I like him here at Ascot, wet going, 1 mile down the straightaway with Jamie Spencer at 20 to 1. He definitely has a live chance here, even though he is the heavyweight of 133 pounds. I also think the 12 horse Fanar can get a piece of it, another 20 to 1 shot. Three-year-old gelding by Dark Angel. Dane O'Neill is up for William Haggis. The horse's most recent outing came 25th of May at Goodwood, won 7 furlongs in a Class 2 handicap, and he finished 4th by 4 3/4 lengths. The 3 in front of him just ran that better race, but first off, a little bit of refreshing. I thought he still ran decently. It wasn't an improvement off the race before, which came in that Cardinal Stakes, which I believe was the road to the Kentucky Derby race at Chelmsford, 1 mile, April the 11th. He finished 7th by 6.5 lengths there, and he just never got into it. It was a weird race, that one. I don't know how to get the form out of it, but a lot of horses just acted weird that afternoon. And then at Linkfield, 7 furlongs, March 2nd, on listed stakes, he won by a neck, and he had only had 5 other rivals, but he quickened up nicely, and he got a good run. I like him a lot back to turf. His last run wasn't half bad. He should improve off that. 20-1, I'll definitely use him, along with the number 19 horse, Dark Jedi. This 3-year-old gelding by Kodiak. Jason Watson's on this one for Charlie Hills. The horse's most recent outing came 9th of May at Chester, yielding ground a mile and a quarter in listed stakes, and the horse finished 5th by 9 lengths, and he just weakened out of it. Do think the mile 2 was a little bit too long for him. Cut back to a mile here today, back to wet ground. I think he's sitting on a good run. Before that, he ran at Newcastle 19th of April, 1 mile in listed stakes, and he finished 7th by 5.5 lengths. He was on the drive first off the break and weakened out of it. It just wasn't the day to win there. And then at Longchamp, 1 mile in the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère, he finished 6th by 7 3/4 lengths, and again, he kind of weakened out of it. Those Group 1 horses were just a lot tougher, and then he ran on soft ground and air going a mile in Class 4 novice, and he ran a very good cycle place finish. He kept the distance well with the heavyweight. He has a good weight here today. He's drawn on the stand side, which I think is the better side for the soft going, and at 20-1, back to the mile, step down class, I think he's another horse that can really get a piece of it, so I'll use him here on the tickets. So to recap my selection for the 5th, the 5 o'clock from Ascot's the Britannia Stakes, I'm going to use the 1 horse Dark Vision. I'll also use the 12 horse Fanar, and I'll also use the 19 horse Dark Jedi. I'll probably put all 3 horses into an exact or forecast box 1, 12, 19, and I'll definitely use all 3 horses in my place pod, and depending on the odds, maybe a small sneaky each way wager here and there, but we have to see how the odds go closer to post time. But the 3 horses I'll be using here is 1, 12, 19. So let's get to the nightcap from Royal Ascot. The nightcap from Ascot, the 6th race, the 5:35. It's the King George V Stakes. It's Class 2 handicap, going for a purse of $115,000. Race for 3-year-olds only. Horses rated 0 to 105. 22 horses here are going. Well, hopefully going. But 20, 21, and 22 are also eligible, so only 19 could go. 2,400 meters or a mile and a half on the turf course here in the nightcap from Ascot. The top selection, I'm going to take the 11 horse Questionnaire. I'm going to go 11, 14, 8 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 11, 14, 8 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection, 11 horse Questionnaire. This trio colt by Galileo. Frankie Dettori's on this one for John Gosden. John Gosden, Frankie Dettori, better have a good day. I have him quite a few times. But the horse's most recent outing came 27th of May at Leicester. A mile and a half, very firm ground in Class 3 novice. The horse finished second by a head. He had a high weight. He had a decent turn of foot. He just missed at the end, but I thought he ran just as good as the winner that day. His last 2 races were actually very good. Actually, all 3 of his races have been very good. Before that, last time Dettori rode the horse at Yarmouth, 30th of April, mile 7/16 in the Class 3 novice. The horse finished second by a neck. Again, he just missed at the end, but he ran a good effort. And then his main victory came on the 4th of March at Wolverhampton, mile 3/16 on the Tapeta in a Class 5 novice. The horse won by a nose. Again, he got there in the nick of time. It was a very good run. If you look at all the margins that he's either won or lost by, it's only been head and nose, and he's always close at the finish. He's going to like the soft ground. He has a good poster, and I think he definitely stayed the mile and a half trip. At 10-1, I'll definitely use the horse, along with the number 14 horse South Pacific. I think this horse is sitting on a good run. Shamey Hefferman's on this one for Aidan O'Brien. The horse's most recent outing came the 11th of May at Nace, a mile and a quarter and a handicap, and he finished second by 2 lengths that day. The winner just ran that better race, but again, he stayed the distance well. He had a little bit of turn of foot. It wasn't the world's worst race for him. He improves a lot more with the extra 2 furlongs to a mile and a half today. Before that, he ran at Nace, a mile and a quarter in the main race, and he broke the main by a nose, and he did everything right. He quickened up nicely in the front end, and a very good run. And then he ran at Leopardstown, a mile and a quarter and a handicap, and that day he unseated Donegal O'Brien. For seasonal reappearance, what do you take out of that run? It was just an unfortunate incident there with heavyweight. Just want to get that in. And then before the Tipperary, back in his Tyrrell campaign, a mile and 8th in the main race, finished second by 4.5 lengths. Again, couldn't catch the winner, but he still ran decently. On the mile 4 furlong trip should suit him well. Good post draw. Jamie Hefferman up. Let's give Ian O'Brien a victory today with somebody else other than Ryan Moore up. But to recap my selection for the 6th, 5:35 from Ascot's to King George V Stakes, let's take the 11-horse Questionnaire as top selection. Also give props to the 14-horse South Pacific. I'll go 11, 14, 8 in the TriCash trifecta. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKit5.